For instance, everyone who invited Santa Claus to give a speech in his synagogue, in his community, and he comes with his heresy and revolt against Hashem with his nonsense and corrupted ideology, and people buy his garbage, and from now on they continue to share it with others, and other people invite him. The person that is responsible, the first one, has to be punished for all the heresy that thousands of people violate every day in the world as results of that lecture and that video that went online. That's why when we started TorahAnytime.com, I was the first one there. But then we started, then Rabbi Aderet, Rabbi Yigal Chaimov, those was the first ones, if I remember all the list correctly. And then by now, 90% of the speakers, I don't even know who they are, but it's people that I guess became speakers later, and they joined. I told once the two brothers that started this, I told them you have to be very careful not to ever put any heretic speaker on the site. Because if you have 500 kosher speakers and you're going to have 2 or 3 heretics, it messed up the whole thing. Because when you do good and bad at the same time, the good is not as great as it was. Because you don't want to have a cause that spreads so much good Torah and make baalei tshuva and inspire people and teach them halachot and teach them emunah and teach them hashkafa and modesty, and at the same time you have few horrible reshaim aruim like my blacklist, and they spread their garbage to the world. So you became now a broker of Hashem and a broker of the Satan without realizing it. That's why you got to be very, very careful before you invite anybody to speak, before you put video online, before you post any video on WhatsApp groups. You have to be very, very careful. Anything you do to promote any one of those 15 horrible Reshaim Arurim in my blacklist, you are liable for eternity. Because it's not just that lecture, it's what came out of it. It's people that have now a corrupted idea and they're going to modern, open orthodoxy, and they now make fun at Chazal, and all kinds of things that they heard from these garbage speakers. It's destroying the world. But you are responsible for everything. Why? Because you posted for the first time on a group, and now 50 people started to listen to these lowlifes non-stop. And remember, the majority of the people are not able to tell the difference between a full kosher speaker to a heretic speaker. They don't know. They have no idea. It doesn't matter. Litvish, Hasidish, Baalei Tshuva, Sfaradim. Does not matter. You can have people sometimes that are religious all their life, and they get excited from the most horrific heresy you can imagine. Hard to believe. I'm telling you, there's one rabbi, a friend of mine for many years. One time he heard that I'm against this Santa, the heretic. He called me up. He said, what do you have against him? I said, nothing personal. I never met him in my life. Never spoke to him one word. I've never been in the same room with him. I wasn't ever in a place that he was. Nothing personal. He never spoke one word against me. He never did anything personal to me. It's nothing personal. So what is it? I said, why? Why is it your interest? He told me, no, because I listened to one of his clips. It was actually interesting. I said to him, hold on 1 minute. Let me send you 6 other clips. He told me, well, but can you tell me first before you send what's the problem? I told him, yeah, it's the number 1 heretic in the world today. Nobody makes more damage than him. Now there is someone worse than him. You know? But I sent him 6 short clips and a letter with all the problems from other places. He almost got a heart attack. He told me, wow, I'm so lucky I called you. My ears fell off. Wow. How can it be that I even 5 minutes listened to such a heretic person? I told him, you see, if someone like you fell into this, what happened to the public out there? I have no idea. They just think, interesting or not. But if you listen to a Christian priest, I'm sure that you're going to find a lot of interesting things he says in his speeches, but he believes in a person that is a God. If you listen to an imam from the Hamas, I'm sure some of the things he would say in his speech will be interesting. Why otherwise he has thousands of listeners to every one of his speeches? It has to be at least partially interesting, but it doesn't mean you're allowed to look in their face, these Reshaim Arurim. You can't even listen to them, and you can't even look at them. You're not allowed to look in the face of a person that spread heresies, Rasha Merusha Machtia Rabim. Cannot be in the same room with him. אסור לעמוד 4 אמות במחיצתו. Do you understand?